Today we're going to talk about writing equations for our lines in slope-intercept form. Remember, we've been given equations in slope-intercept form and we've been asked to graph them. Now they're going to give us graphs or other information and we've got to write the equation. Y equals mx plus b. M is our slope and b is our y-intercept. Let's look at the first one. Well, it's definitely a linear equation because it's a straight line. First thing we're going to do is identify the y-intercept, and that's where the line crosses the y-axis. And that's going to be at positive 2. The slope, just looking at this line, it's got a positive slope. We're going to find 2 points and count rise over run. Here's one. Our rise, because it's a positive slope, up 4 over 5. And remember, that sounds exactly like the fraction 4 over 5. All we needed was the slope and the y-intercept. We've got it. We're ready to write our equation. Y equals mx plus b. We're going to put the slope in place of m. Our slope is 4/5 x plus our y-intercept is 2. And there's our equation in slope-intercept form for this line. Looking at problem number 2, where it crosses the y-axis is at -2. Looking at our line, it definitely has a negative slope, so we know it's going to be negative. We need 2 points to count the rise over run. We can use our y-intercept and this point right here. Remember, it's negative, so we've already got our negative sign. Rise, we're going down 3 and over 2. We've got our slope, we've got our y-intercept, we're ready to write the equation. Y equals mx plus b is the formula. We're going to plug in our slope for the variable m, -3 halves x, and our y-intercept is -2, so we're going to write -2. So from a graph line, in order to write an equation in slope-intercept form, we have got to identify the slope and the y-intercept. Next, we have problems 3, 4, and 5. They said to write an equation when given the slope and the y-intercept. And they've given us our information. Remember, our slope is m and our y-intercept is b. Y equals 1x and our y-intercept is 2, so plus 2. If you write it without the 1, that's also okay. Remember, the 1's understood. Either one of those equations would be fine. Again, for problem number 4, they've given us the slope, they've given us the y-intercept. It's a matter of substituting in our variables slope m and y-intercept b. So -3/4 x minus 5. Next we have y equals, our slope is 0, so 0x. And our y-intercept is -3. Now we can simplify this equation because 0 times x is 0, and 0 minus 3 is -3. And there's our equation. When our slope is 0, remember that's going to be a horizontal line. So if that was graphed, that's what it would look like. All right. Problems 6 and 7. We just had one like this in problem number 5. This has a 0 slope. And if I'm going to write an equation, if I find 2 points, here's one and its ordered pair is 0, 2. Remember, in the ordered pairs, x is our first and our y is second. Next, I pick another point on this line. Let's go with this one. That's 2, 2. And if we ask ourselves, what matches? Well, the y's match, and our equation is going to be y equals 2. For our next one, this is undefined slope, and this slope is the opposite. So, undefined slope. If we were to find two ordered pairs using this one, it would be -3, 0. Remembering x and y, that's the order of the ordered pair. And then if we used this point, would be -3, +2. Well, this time the x's match in the ordered pair. So instead of y equals a number, we're going to have x equals a number, and that number is going to be -3. If we wrote all the ordered pairs, x would be nothing but -3, and our y values would all be different. Okay. Now, for the last type of problem, we are going to write equations from two given points. These steps will help you to write that equation successfully. First, we want to find the slope of the given points. So, first, y minus y, 2 minus 1 is 1. And 6 minus 3 is 3. Y minus y, x minus x, our slope is 1/3. We've already found half of our equation. We need the slope. Now we've got to find the y-intercept. Step 2 says to choose one of the given points. Well, it doesn't matter which one. I'm going to pick 6, 2. We're going to take the slope and the ordered pair and substitute them into our equation y equals mx plus b. Remember, this is the x value and this is the y value. Y equals mx plus b. The y value was 2. The slope was 1/3. The operation between m and x is multiplication. The x value is 6 plus b. That's our y-intercept, and our job is to solve this equation for our y-intercept. Multiplying 1/3 times 6, we get 2. We still have plus b, and on the left-hand side we have 2. In order to get b by itself, we're going to subtract, we're going to subtract 2 from both sides, and that leaves us b equals 0. So our equation, we're ready to write it because we've got our slope, we've got our y-intercept. Y equals 1/3 x plus 0. We can simplify that. Y equals 1/3 x. Okay? It takes a little practice, but if you follow those 4 steps, you'll be fine. Number 9. First, we're going to find the slope. Remember, the only reason why we're stacking them is so that we accidentally don't subtract a y minus an x. We have them lined up. 8 minus 5, that's y minus y equals 3. 8 minus -4 is going to be 12. And that simplifies to 1/4. So our slope equals 1/4. We're halfway there. Now we've got to pick a point. Either one of these points will work. I would suggest picking 8, 8, only because x is 8 and y is 8. You can't accidentally plug them in the wrong place. So 8, 8 is the point we're going to use. Y equals mx plus b. The y value is 8. The slope is 1/4 times the x value, which is 8, plus b. Multiplying 1/4 times 8, we'll get 2 plus b. 8 is still on the left-hand side. In order to solve for b, we're going to subtract 2 from both sides. And b equals 6. We've got our slope, we've got our y-intercept, we're ready to write the equation. Y equals 1/4 x plus 6. Now for problem number 10. First thing we're going to do is find that slope. We're stacking them and subtracting so that we accidentally do not subtract an x and a y. All right, y minus y. -3 minus -3 equals 0. 7 minus -5 is 12. And our slope is 0. Well, we just had some problems on the other side where our slope is 0. That means our line is going to be horizontal. If we go back and look at our x values and our y values, since the y's match, our equation is going to be y equals -3. And we're done with that. Next, problem number 11. In reading this problem, we have membership for 6 months has a total cost of $285. 9 months has a total of $390. Well, from this word problem, those are our ordered pairs. Time is x, so 6, 285. 9 months and $390. Our job is to write an equation just like we did with the first 3 problems. And we have one extra step right here. But we'll worry about that after we've got our equation. First, we're going to subtract y minus y. 285 minus 390 is -105. 6 minus 9 is -3. Our slope, simplified, is going to be positive 35. There's half the equation. Now, to choose one of the points, let's use 6 and 285. All right, substituting our values into our equation. Y, remember y is the second value in our ordered pair. That's 285. Our slope is 35 times x, which is 6, plus b. Now we're going to solve this equation for b. First multiply. We still have 285 on the left. 35 times 6 is 210. We're going to subtract 210 from both sides, and that gives us 75 equals b. That's the rest of what we need to write our equation. So y equals 35x plus 75. There's our equation. Now, on the last sentence, it says to use the equation, we have it, to find the total fee for 15 months. If you remember, 6 and 9 represented months. So 15 months, that's going to be our x value. We're going to substitute it in and evaluate. Y equals 35 times 15, add 75, and when you calculate it, y equals 600, and that's going to be $600. That's what it's going to cost for the membership for 15 months. All right, let's go to the next page. Your assignment's going to be the odd problems and also number 14. So the odd problems front and back and problem number 14. Let's do number 13. Flourishing Flowers charges $125 plus $60 for each standard floral arrangement to deliver and set up flowers for a banquet. Well, we don't have ordered pairs like we had in that last example, but way back when we did two-step equations, we always asked ourselves what number went with the variable x. And we told ourselves that when we're looking for the number that goes with x in a word problem, look for per or for each. And if you notice right here, it says $60 for each standard floral arrangement. So our equation is going to be y equals 60x, and they also charge an extra fee of $125. And there's your equation, and it's going to represent a line. And number 14, just like the last one, they give you a certain amount of floral arrangements, and you're going to find the total cost. Again, February 1st, Friday's assignment is to do the odds and number 14. Thank you.